Welcome back, ProGuides family. How are you doing today? I'm doing great myself because I just can't wait to bring you these 10 amazing tips that will allow you to reach new heights and break through your skill plateau. I'm sure that if you apply these tips, you're going to improve so fast that you'll be surprised yourself. But before we reveal all that, it's of course time for our question of the day. Today, we'd love to know, what is your favorite position to play? Personally, I find it difficult to decide. I love playing A-Site Mirage, especially when I'm having a good day, because you can always get so much action there. But at the same time, if I play a B Apartments on the same map, I always know what to expect from myself, and I can always be pretty consistent. That aside, what's your favorite spot to play? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm really curious. Anyways, let's begin talking about why you're not improving. Starting out with the first reason you might not be improving, you probably don't practice your fundamentals. Practicing your fundamentals is infinitely important no matter to improve at any skill in life. No matter if you're trying to hit more shots in basketball or CSGO, getting better at it is essentially the same concept. If you want to practice a certain skill, you should try and isolate it and focus on it solely. In the same way you don't just want to play basketball in order to improve accuracy, the same is true for Counter-Strike. If you want to improve at Counter-Strike as fast as you possibly can, you should focus on the elements that you are weak at. If your tracking is bad, practice your tracking. If you're lacking in your counter-strafes, guess what? You should be practicing your counter-strafing. If you want to improve at Counter-Strike, you're gonna have to practice your fundamental skills like tracking, flicking, counter-strafing, and general movement. If you don't, simply put, you'll just not improve as fast as you possibly could be. What this tip comes down to is that if you want to improve at anything in life, you have to practice the skills necessary in isolation, and that applies to CSGO as well. That gets us into our second reason, that being maybe you are practicing, but you're doing it wrong or just not as efficient as you possibly could be. When it comes to practice, of course, ideally you'll want to do as much as possible, but obviously no one has the time to play 24/7. So instead, you should try to maximize the efficiency of your time that you do put in. Although it might not be known, most people aren't really efficient in how they practice. And this is a bit embarrassing because I used to do this myself, but a lot of people really only practice whenever their confidence is low or whenever they randomly get a lot of motivation to do so. Maybe they'll barely practice at all for a week and then suddenly one day when they do get the motivation, practice for 4 hours without breaks. The reason that this is bad is because with practice, consistency is key. So even if you only practiced for 20 minutes each day of the week and you'd only be totaling a bit over 2 hours, it would be a lot more effective than that whole 4-hour chunk. That doesn't mean that after 20 minutes of practice you should stop, but if you are truly dedicated to improving, you should try to get some regular practice in. Putting aside time each day to practice for 30 minutes or so is much better than grinding for hours on end, but only on the weekends. That being said though, it doesn't mean that you have to practice every day even when you really don't want to. If you're really just not feeling it one day or you need a break, it's honestly better to just not force yourself to play. If you do so, you'll end up feeling like practicing is a chore and then you might stop doing it altogether. Take those breaks, guys, they are important. Another big reason you might feel that you're not improving is that you're always practicing the exact same things. When it comes to improving as a Counter-Strike player, there are loads of things you can improve on. There's aim, but that can and should be separated into flicking and tracking, and then for both of them, you can also practice your speed and your accuracy. But there's also movement that can be separated into counter-strafing, air strafing, bunny hopping, jiggle peeking, shoulder peeking, etc, etc, etc. A lot of players only really practice one or a few of these skills. Personally, I know a lot of players that only really practice their flicks, specifically their flicking speed. Their flicks might indeed become really fast, but when they do hit a shot, it might indeed look sick, but not by any means are they great aimers or all-around players. If you want to improve at Counter-Strike, you should try to practice all or at least most of the skills necessary instead of only trying to hit cool flicks. If you feel that you're stuck at a current rank, try developing or improving a skill that you might have neglected until then. If you've never really taken the time to learn how to properly bunny hop or even surf, maybe now's the time to do so. And then during your next training session, make it a part of your routine. Essentially, lots of players that have the feeling that they are not improving are usually correct, and that is because they're not learning any new skills, and are only really grinding away on one or a few skills that they're quite already good at. Something that's often overlooked, but is also massively important to why you might not be improving, is your mindset. A lot of players, myself included, will go into a practice and then hop into a game right afterwards and expect to see results immediately. Expecting to see results instantly is unrealistic and an absolutely terrible mindset to have. If you, like I used to do, expect to see results as soon as you finish your practice, you'll undoubtedly be left disappointed and likely demotivated. If you start your new practice routine, you should be expecting results, but you can only really see those after you've been consistently practicing for at least a few weeks to a month. If you then still notice no results, you should maybe try another routine until you find something that works for you. Basically, try to avoid expecting to see results as soon as you've completed your practice routine, or else you'll be left disappointed and left too demotivated to practice again. Another thing that's often overlooked when trying to improve is experimenting. Experimenting is a very important aspect of improving. In order to build game sense and learn more about the game in general, experimenting is massively important. If you keep holding the same angles or playing the same spots, you might get really comfortable with them and possibly even perform well, but you won't be improving past that level once you are comfortable there. If you really want to improve, you'll have to sacrifice kills, rounds, and games you would otherwise have gotten in order to improve at a more rapid pace. Another example might be you're playing a 1v1 and the time is low. You know the opponent is on site you were planning to go to, but you're not sure if they even have enough time to rotate to the other site. At this point, the safe play would be to just try and take the 1v1 fight. But if you don't and instead risk running out of time and attempting to rotate, next time in that clutch you'll have a better feeling for the timing that it takes and be a better player. This is just one example of sacrificing a round in order to learn a timing or a new spot. But if you're really devoted to improving and don't mind losing an extra game here or there, this is what you should be doing. Long term, you'll be happy that you took the time to learn all these things and you'll become a better player for it. Now it's time for the reason pretty much everyone more or less knows about, but no person can actually be bothered to do, and that's watching your dang demos, guys. Watching your demos is a great way to build better game sense and decision making, and even find gaps in your game before you get punished for them. A lot of the time, you're making way more mistakes than you realize solely because your enemies aren't capitalizing on them. If you watch back your demos, you can find and fix these mistakes before you otherwise would have been found out the hard way, also known as, by losing a game because of it. Sure, watching your demos might not be as fun as just playing the game, but when it comes to improving as fast as you can, it definitely is the most time efficient and will help you with all areas of your game apart from raw mechanical skill, which, you obviously just gotta have to practice yourself. Well, actually, maybe that's not entirely true. There is one other thing that will help you improve even faster than just watching demos, but it will cost a little bit of money, and that's getting a personal coach. Getting a coach to watch demos with you and even help you set up a practice routine is 100% the #1 way to improve as fast as humanly possible. Having your own mentor that can watch your demos with you and point out all your mistakes and then also tell you how to fix them will truly make a massive difference in whether you'll progress slowly but surely. Figuring out your way through all the bad habits you might have developed during all the time you've been playing, or if you're going to do everything right the first time and get to your full potential as fast as you can. As a person that has had a coach in the past, I can't recommend one enough. It will truly boost your CSGO career without having to put in any monstrous hours. Now you might be wondering where you can get yourself a good coach, and luckily we over here at ProGuides have the answer to just that. Over on ProGuides.com, you can find tons of amazing coaches specialized in helping you improve. So if you really want to improve, I can't recommend heading on over and checking out which coach fits your needs specifically. In order to improve as fast as possible in any competitive game, you need to play against better players. If you're playing against worse players, you'll be able to get away with dumb stuff that will only work against players way below your skill level and thus develop bad habits. If you're going up against people of your own skill level, you'll improve at a more normal pace. But if you're playing against better players, you'll be forced to play your A game, and all the mistakes you make will be punished. Therefore, you should try to play with and against better players as much as possible. That way, you'll learn a lot more a lot faster. Alright. Reason number 9, you're not utilizing offline servers. In Counter-Strike, you can always go into an offline server without any bots by just typing DE_map, and then once you're loaded in, bot_kick in console. That way, you'll be alone on any map you desire, and you'll be free to walk around. This is a great way to improve at any position or think of strats and potential plays. If you usually play A-Site Mirage, you can premeditate how you should react to all different types of plays your opponent might do, so that once you're in a match, you already know exactly how you should react to that play. Honestly, how to effectively use offline servers is a subject on its own, and this was by no means comprehensive. So if you'd like a video specifically on that, make sure to let us know down in the comments below. Well, it is time for our last reason that you aren't improving, and that is just simply because you're really bad, you have no potential, and honestly, I don't know why you still play the game. Or so you think. A lot of players struggle with confidence and might even think bad of themselves. If that's the case for you, you really need to work on your confidence. Lacking confidence is detrimental to your performance. If you genuinely think that you're stuck in silver or gold Nova, you will be, until you get that thought out of your head. The truth is, anyone that is willing to put in the hours can become really great at whatever they're trying to get good at. Becoming one of the top few hundred players in your country isn't hard per se, it just takes time and effort. If you're willing to put in the effort necessary, you can become a great player as long as you believe in yourself. Well guys, that looks like it's going to be all for now. I really hope you guys learned something here today, and if you did, be sure to let us know by leaving a like and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you did enjoy today's episode, make sure to check out the rest of the channel as well. We've got loads more content on it, which I'm sure you'll enjoy. Lastly, head on over to ProGuides.com in order to get your coaching sessions booked, and while you're at it, you can watch the one and only simple master course exclusively on ProGuides. With that, I wish you all a great rest of your day and the best of luck in improving.